Hey there, thanks for tuning in today. We have a lot to cover, and it's important, so I hope you'll stick with me. Imagine waking up to find out that some of the biggest decisions affecting your future were just made. That's essentially what happened today, as President Trump signed a series of executive orders that are already making waves across the country. These decisions touch on climate policy, immigration, federal hiring, and even the way we interact with social media. Each one has implications for our daily lives, and we're going to break it all down together. Let's start with what might be the most talked about move: pardoning over 1,600 individuals who were charged in connection with the January 6th Capitol riot. Trump's sweeping clemency includes those accused of minor offenses like trespassing, as well as some who were charged with more serious crimes, including assaulting law enforcement. He described these individuals as people who had been destroyed by what he called harsh sentences. This decision has sparked outrage, with critics calling it a dangerous precedent. What do you think? Should these pardons have been issued, or does this undermine the justice system? And speaking of major shifts, let's talk about climate policy. Trump signed an executive order to withdraw the United States from the Paris Agreement once again, joining a short list of nations not part of the pact. This move could have significant implications for global efforts to combat climate change. The withdrawal signals a return to prioritizing fossil fuels, with Trump promising to expand drilling and energy production on public lands. He even declared a national energy emergency, though some experts are questioning whether this is more symbolic than practical. How do you feel about this pivot back to fossil fuels? Do you see it as an economic boost or a step backward for the environment? On the topic of immigration, things are already changing. The administration has moved to shut down the app used by nearly 1 million migrants to schedule asylum appointments, leaving many in limbo. In addition, Trump's team announced plans to end birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to non-citizens, a move that's almost certain to face legal challenges since the Constitution guarantees this right. What does this mean for families and communities? And how might these policies reshape the immigration system in the long run? Let's shift to something that might surprise you: Tik Tok. Just months after a federal law banning the app went into effect, Trump issued an executive order delaying the ban for 75 days. This pause gives his administration time to negotiate a deal aimed at addressing national security concerns. It's a curious decision, especially given the bipartisan push to block TikTok over fears that it could be used to collect U.S. data or spread propaganda. If you're a TikTok user, this might feel like a temporary reprieve, but the clock is still ticking. How do you see this playing out? Another key executive order involves federal hiring. Trump implemented a freeze on most federal hiring, with a notable exception: the IRS. He specifically extended the freeze for the tax agency, signaling his intent to reduce its size and influence. This could have a big impact on how quickly the agency processes tax returns and enforces tax laws. If you've ever been frustrated waiting for a refund or dealing with the IRS, you might have strong opinions on this one. And let's not forget the changes to workplace policies. Trump ordered federal employees to return to full-time, in-person work. The goal, according to his advisors, is to encourage voluntary departures and reduce the number of civil servants. For some, this might feel like a push to get things back to normal, but for others, it's a disruption to the work-life balance they've come to rely on. Now, here's something that might raise eyebrows. Trump announced plans to impose 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, citing concerns over undocumented immigration and the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. Tariffs often come with mixed results. They can protect certain industries, but also lead to higher prices for consumers. What do you think? Are tariffs the right way to address these challenges? Before we wrap up, there's one more symbolic move worth mentioning. Trump plans to rename Denali, the tallest mountain in North America, back to Mount McKinley, and he's floated the idea of renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. These changes are largely symbolic, but have sparked heated debates. What's in a name, right? Well, for some, it's about cultural identity and history. For others, it's a bold move to assert American pride. These are just some of the executive actions signed today, and as you can see, they're already stirring up discussions across the country. Whether it's pardons, climate policies, immigration changes, or even TikTok, these decisions touch on deeply personal and national issues. So, What does all of this mean for you? How do these changes align with your values and your vision for the future? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like and share so others can stay informed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.